Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you very much for joining us. My name is Andrew Macklin, Editorial Director at Actual Media and member of the Board of Directors of the Canadian Brownfields Network, and it is my privilege to welcome you to the 2020 Brownie Awards, the virtual edition, of course. Sorry that we're not able to join you in person today, but we have a fantastic online presentation ahead of us for the next 2 or so hours. Before we get too far into today's ceremony, I would like to formally begin today's presentation by acknowledging the land on which we are gathering here in Toronto. As we are presenting today's awards from our home office on Eglinton Avenue, we acknowledge that the land we are meeting on is the traditional territory of many nations, including the Mississaugas of the Credit, the Anishinaabeg, the Chippewa, the Haudenosaunee, and the Wendat peoples, and is now home to many diverse First Nations, Inuit, and Métis peoples. We also acknowledge that Toronto is covered by Treaty 13 with the Mississaugas of the Credit. Before we get too far into this, I want to take a few moments just to make sure that you're all familiar with the platform that we are presenting today's event on. I can see many of you are taking a few moments to join us in the chat. Introduce yourself, let us know where you are tuning into today's event from and what company you represent. Throughout today's presentation, you're going to see a few things along the bottom of your screen. First of all, you'll see an opportunity to ask a question. That will be active during our panel presentation, which will start in about 15 minutes from now. And as well, you will see underneath me right now, you'll see a little green link. That is live links throughout the presentation so you can see what some of our partners are doing in the brownfield space here in Canada. Without further ado, let me turn it over to our first guest speaker of the afternoon. And it is my privilege to welcome the president of the Canadian Brownfields Network, Mr. Chris D'Souza, to the screen. Chris, of course, is a professor at Ryerson University. Chris, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you. Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to the 2020 Brownie Awards. I'd like to thank you all for joining the Canadian Brownfields Network and Actual Media in this annual celebration of excellence. I wish we could all be together in person, but we got to do what we got to do to stay safe from the corona. So thanks to Actual Media for putting this virtual awards program together. This has been a very busy year for CBN, and I sincerely thank the outstanding members of our volunteer board for all that you do. You are my Brownfields champions. Some CBN highlights for this year include starting off 2020 with a new 5-year strategic plan outlining actions and activities to help CBN deliver on its Brownfields First mission, launching a new development committee to focus on issues of property development, finance, and planning. This committee will complement the work of our other hardworking committees, including technical advisory, government relations, and communications. Despite the fact that we had to postpone our awesome summer conference to push it to 2020, we're able to participate in several conferences and webinars, including REMTech and the recent TIFF webinar we did with Eris. CBN members also worked with Ryerson students to study why some brownfield projects achieve particularly significant catalytic impacts on their communities. What kept the board particularly busy in 2020, however, was helping CBN reassess and reconfigure how it operates to best support our Brownfields First mission. On this, I'm very pleased to announce that this year's Brownies that the highly respected and longtime Canadian brownfielder, Tammy Lomas-Yulia, has just joined CBN as part-time executive director. Tammy helped us develop our strategic plan late last year, so it's great to have her working with us to deliver on that plan moving forward. She will be supported by a new part-time operations administrator, Sim Frayne, who brings with her years of administrative and conference development experience. So a big welcome and shout out to both Tammy and Sim. So back to business. Today we get to wrap up this strange and busy 2020 with the Brownie Awards, a wonderful way to celebrate this great industry and the fantastic people involved in it. We could not do this without a terrific jury. The 2020 Brownie Awards jury were selected from a cross-section of your peers. They each volunteered their time and expertise in reviewing the submissions, debating the merits and attributes of each one over several weeks of the process, and then made hard decisions to choose the finalists and winners from almost 40 detailed nominations from across Canada. The members of the jury are, now for those of you who are here, please say hello in the chat and be recognized. And if you lost an award, you could just blame them in the chat as well. So our jury includes Monisha Nandi, Environmental Director at Kilmer Group, member of the CBN board, and our Supreme Leader and Chair of the awards jury. Grant Awesome Walsum from XCG, past CBN president and current member of our board. Megan Janes from Waterfront Toronto, also a board member. Tina Carfa from the Ontario Association of Architects. Evelyn Bostwick from Stantec and CBN board member. Pamela Kraft from the Toronto Transit Commission. Yours truly, myself. Krista Barfoot from Stantec, and also a longtime CBN board member. Gled Miller with the Canadian Urban Institute and WISE, founder of these here Brownie Awards. Stephanie Bodano from the Federation of Canadian Municipalities. Eric Pringle, our West Coast wonder from Milestone Contracting and past CBN president. Carla Guerrera with Purpose Driven Development. And last but not least, we have Andrew Macklin from Actual Media, who is also a member of the CBN board and has worked tirelessly with Nick, Natasha, and others on delivering tonight's brownies. So we also want to give a special shout out to Daniel Ash, a student from Ryerson University who is interning with CBN. He pulled together all of the nomination information for the judges this year, which is no small task. So thank you for your support, Daniel. So that's enough from me. I will now pass it back over to Andrew and dive back into my brownie box. So enjoy the event, everyone. And thank you all. And thank you to our sponsors as well.
Thank you very much, Chris. Appreciate you bringing greetings on behalf of the Canadian Brownfields Network. Now, if you've ever attended a Brownie Awards, you know that I am not the face that you are supposed to see at the beginning of one of these evenings. I'm usually a guy who's scurrying around trying to figure out to make sure everything's working. But they threw me in front of the camera this year, but only momentarily, because it is my pleasure to introduce the person you expect to see in front of the camera, and who almost tried to convince me that he wasn't going to do it, but we all knew that there was no way that could happen. So please join me and virtually applaud, I guess, in welcoming the CEO of Actual Media, the longtime host of the Brownie Awards, Mr. Todd Latham. Todd, floor is yours. Or maybe, okay, that's better.
Thank you very much, everybody. Welcome to the Brownie Awards. It's a little different, obviously. I don't see anybody out there, but welcome. You're all here. I know I can see your familiar faces. I see chat going. So thank you very much, Andrew, for the introduction. Thank you, Chris, for your words on CBN. Obviously excited to be back here. 21 years we've been doing this. I could tell you all kinds of stories about what happened 21 years ago, Glenn Miller and I and CUI, but I've got a script and I've got a timeline, so I'm not going to go off that. So I know we all wish we were going to be at the Delta right now. We'd have drinks in hand. It'd be a real festive situation. We can do that in your living room or in your home office. So COVID be damned. The show must go on. We're going to do this today. Very proud to be doing it with my Actual Media team, working with CBN, of course, to prevent these awards virtually. One of the benefits of doing this virtually is you can mute me at any time. If you just decide you've had enough of Todd Latham's jokes, you can definitely just hit mute and I'm gone. That's not me, that was me. Okay, in all seriousness, today we celebrate 21 years, rehabilitation, redevelopment of brownfield sites. That first year I mentioned, there were only a handful of local speakers that were given a recognition for the Brownie Award for just understanding what a brownfield was. So now we have hundreds of industry participants and champions from across the country at a part of our annual celebration. And it's a testament to how well we have all educated the public, our elected officials and developers to embrace brownfields. And as Chris mentioned, brownfields first. So that's what we're doing. This is an economic opportunity and not a stigma looking for a fence. So last year we honored 9 exemplary projects, programs, and technologies. And for the first time, our Brownfielder of the Year award was given to the dynamic duo doing incredible work to rehabilitate significant brownfield properties in Ottawa and Quebec, Andrew DeConti and Wanda Thusky. And I have a very important question for those two. Where's the hat? So if you have the hat, make sure you send it to our new Brownie of the Year award winner, and that will come up in our program. So we're live tweeting this afternoon. I think you've seen some of the information on the sidebar. There you go. It's popped up. So make sure you tag your tweets. We want this to trend nationally. I think last year we trended nationally, so that was kind of a fun thing, and looking to do that again. So none of all of this would be possible, of course, without the amazing support from the CBN board and our industry partners. So I want to take a quick moment to thank our presenting sponsor, WSP, our Brownie Mix sponsor, Eris, and our category sponsors, Wilms & Shire, Environmental Lawyers, Milestone Environmental Contracting, Bureau Veritas, aka BV Labs, Golder, GHD, FCM, Kilmer Brownfield Equity, Terrapex, the Cannington Group, Stantec, and also some of our supporting partners, just because we ran out of categories for these people to sponsor, Dillon Consulting, Sanixon, Eco Canada, and T. Harris Environmental Management. Thank you all for this incredible outpouring of support. It's great that we're still able to get everybody together and make this Brownie Awards happen, even virtually. So once again, Beamsville's Floyd Elzinga is a talented artist who created our first Brownie Awards in 2001. And I have one of those very Brownie Awards right here from 2001 that was awarded to me sort of at the time. And he again has worked his magic on these works of art made in Canada that every Brownie Award recipient will receive. So Chris mentioned the Brownie Awards jury. They selected finalists from 7 different provinces. So this is truly across Canada representation and participation. And I think I'm just really thrilled. And I think all of you who've been at Brownie Awards in the past will recognize that in a year of COVID, we've been able to continue with the momentum on brownfields, continue with the support for brownfield redevelopment. And thank you very much. I'm going to be back, but first, I'd like to turn things over to Dan Moore at WSP, they're our presenting sponsor, to say a few words. Dan? Dan's coming. He said he's coming up. He's just walking up to the stage. Dan, come on up.
Here.
Oh, Dan. Where is Dan? He's moving around the chairs. It's very crowded. We have 185 people in here, so it's hard for him to get to. There he is, Dan.
Hello. Hi, Todd. Well, thank you, Todd. I think I missed that part of the introduction because I was coming on the stage with try to avoid all the drinks that I had to pass without spilling any. But anyways, good afternoon, everyone. Actually, I just want to also acknowledge where I'm sitting in Beamsville, actually, down the road from Floyd, ironically. I didn't know Floyd was the creator of your Brownie Awards sculpture. And I want to acknowledge that where I am sitting is the traditional territory of the Haudenosaunee and Anishinaabe peoples, and we recognize their history, spirituality, culture, and stewardship of this land. This territory is covered by the Upper Canada Treaties and is within the land protected by the Dish with One Spoon Wampum Agreement. So we're all grateful to the Indigenous groups for their commitment to protect the land and its resources, and we're committed to reconciliation, partnership, and greater understanding. So my name is Dan Moore. I'm the National Vice President of Environmental Management at WSP in Canada. It's an absolute pleasure to be here with you today on behalf of WSP as the presenting sponsor for the 2020 Brownies Award. At WSP, we turn brownfields into opportunities. We have a storied history of working with brownfield sites, from site characterization to remediation and risk management to redevelopment. Our brownfield services are led by experienced, pragmatic, and innovative staff who understand our clients' needs and challenges while taking a balanced approach to ensuring our solutions deliver long-term environmental and economic success. This team is supported by over 1,000 staff across the country, providing a broad array of services in environmental management, geotechnical engineering, and environmental impact assessments, and also by an even larger team of WSP engineers, scientists, planners, designers in our infrastructure, transportation, building, and industrial groups across Canada. Our professionals provide expertise underpinned by years of experience contributing to projects with a broad range of scope and magnitude. And our team of multidisciplinary professionals approach every project with diligence and dedication while we mitigate risks and render sustainable solutions that account for current and future trends. At WSP, we challenge the status quo and strive to journey on innovative paths that may make us uncomfortable. We explore probable trends and risks, such as climate change impacts, to deliver data-driven solutions to support our projects from beginning to end. WSP is aware of the increasing need for sustainable and resilient measures to safeguard our natural and built environments, and we are committed to engaging with climate-centric and innovative approaches while minimizing the carbon footprint of our projects. Leveraging our multidisciplinary network of expertise, including climate change and resilience professionals, our WSP Smart Integrated Technology Platform, and our Future Ready program, WSP has and will continue to support clients and stakeholders to achieve the best outcomes that meet the needs of today and tomorrow. We take our work seriously, and we deliver results that make us proud because we know that our work contributes to helping our clients and communities thrive. As we all recognize, our brownfields projects are not designed for today, but for tomorrow. For this reason, it's our obligation as planners, environmental specialists, developers, financiers, engineers, project managers, others, to have the future in mind when developing creative, effective, and resilient solutions for the brownfields we work on. These projects will be foundations upon which we and future generations will build homes, commercial buildings, parks, cultural landmarks, and more. Now, I know everyone here and every team receiving an award today share a similar sentiment and respect for the environment. And you have all put your best efforts into reprogramming, rebuilding, remediating, renewing, reinvesting, and realizing outstanding projects, as well as engaging with the public and stakeholders to drive your projects forward. And we share your passion and drive, acknowledge the inspiring work you've all achieved, and are proud to be industry colleagues with you. And for this reason, it's a great honor to recognize all of you for your outstanding contributions and dedications to renewing sites. And we also want to recognize the work that Actual Media and the CBN does, and thank you so much for what they do. So without further ado, on behalf of WSP, I wish you all a great afternoon, and we want to extend our sincere congratulations to all of you on your accomplishments. Thank you.
Thanks, Dan. Before I turn things over to Andrew, this is the moment you're all waiting for. So I know it's the award winners are nice and Brownfield of the Year. Yeah, we got to do that. And, you know, CBN's doing great work. But really, it's about the jokes. That's why you pay the big bucks to attend and why the sponsors are lining up, because these jokes are so important to our sanity and our mental health. So here we go. Andrew and the rest of the staff quit on me. They said they can't even stomach the jokes that they're writing for me. So I was left on my own. So here we go. Here we go. I think it's really cool that I can say this sentence and you all know what I'm talking about. The phase 1, phase 3 ESAs were conducted by the QP and involved an SSRA with PFAS and BTEX delineation requiring in situ remediation to satisfy the MOECP, RSC, and avoid LLB-BS. Okay, I know Tufik's online, and he says he wants my MC job, but I don't think Tufik or anybody else can do this. This is deep stuff. I should be on Saturday Night Live. Okay, here's another one. Ready? Why did the environmental consultant cross the road? To get to the plume on the other side. Okay. All right. Here's a good one. Here's a good one. This is really. I spent a lot of time on this one. What do brownfields and Chesterfields have in common? And for those of you too young enough to know, if you're under 40, a Chesterfield is an old school way of saying a couch. Okay, so what do brownfields and Chesterfields have in common? They both have money in them if you look long enough. And they're both unhealthy to sit on for too long. Thanks for the crickets there, Andrew. Yeah, that is very nice. So look, I was doing some Google searches because I asked all of you many times throughout the last year, send me your brownfield jokes. I got nada, zip. So I had to do my own research. So as I'm looking around in Google for brownfield jokes, I discovered the town of Brownfield. Yes, there is a town of Brownfield that's in Northwest Texas, population less than 10,000. Walmart recently closed their store there. They decided not to renew their lease. Do you know why? They cited Brownfield was not economically viable for them. Not making that up. We know brownfields are economically viable, right? Okay. In Brownfield, the town of Brownfield, they have a newspaper. It's called the Brownfield News, and it's not an industry rag. And they had a recent post about the rival football team coming to town. The rival football team was from Springwater. So they had a game called Springwater versus Brownfield. So unless there was active pumping, I think you know who won that. All right, I'm trying. Is there a hook? I don't know, Dean. No, but seriously, not much comes up to laugh about on Brownfield Google search. And I think that's a real travesty. I mean, this time of age, could be more important in the world right now than a good quality brownfield joke? If we can't laugh uncomfortably at toxic orange waste spewing from a hole in an unstable landmass contaminated by blue and red ideology, what is there? And if you don't get my references there, you're not a political animal and you're not watching CNN or Fox. Moving right along. Next, yeah, I'm working on it, Grant. Okay, Manisha, sorry, I'm trying. This is de rigueur. Okay, I did find this. This is a true story. I'm not joking. I'm trying not to crack a smile here. A true story. LEED certified a new colorectal surgery center. They did. It's a colorectal surgery center. It's LEED certified. They earned a credit for brownfield redevelopment. Okay, have you had enough? Do you want more? Okay, I got one more for you, and then I think I'm going to get the hook. How did the consultants know the brownfield property was owned by the daughter of a rich man? How did they know this brownfield property was owned by the daughter of a rich man? They got an heiress report. Okay, I'm hoping some of you are laughing out there. I really am. I can see some groans and oh my LOLs. That's all good. So enough torture. Let's get into the meat and potatoes of this brownfield event. I want to thank the CBN for their partnership ongoing. It's been wonderful. 21 years, CUI, CBN. I've been here the whole time. They can't get rid of me, apparently. The work CBN is doing is creating stronger, healthier communities for everyone to work, live, and play. And I want to give a special shout out to the team that made today. I was going to say tonight. Maybe it's tonight in the East Coast. Monisha, Chris, Grant, Daniel, Andrew, Nick, Simran, Connie, and Donna. Thank you, everybody, especially Natasha. I didn't see her name on that list, but I think she deserves extra attention for all the work she's done to organize this. So now I'm going to turn things back over to Andrew, who will introduce and moderate our keynote panel presentation, and try not to crack any jokes about me.
I've always wanted to do this. God, that was satisfying. Just one quick note, no matter how many times I tell Todd that he's the only one that laughs at his jokes, he still tells them anyway. So it is my pleasure to change things up a little bit this year. Typically at this stage of the game in the Brownie Awards, we would introduce a keynote speaker who would talk about one of the many great brownfields that are being redeveloped here in Canada. But we wanted to do something a little different because, we want to utilize the fact that we've got technology working for us. And we still hear, no matter how much we talk about brownfields across Canada, we still hear about the stigma behind brownfield. And thus, because of this, I wanted to gather a few experts from throughout the industry, bring them on board, and for 15 or 20 minutes, let's just have a brief chat about what it is that's being done to remove the stigma around brownfield so we can continue to celebrate the great work that you are all doing, make sure that everyone else recognizes the great work that you're all doing, and make sure that brownfields first is the approach taken by all municipalities across Canada through urban development. So let me take a moment now quickly to introduce our three speakers who will be joining me for this conversation. And don't forget, if you have a question, We don't have a lot of time, but I will try very, very hard to be able to address your question. Chris D'Souza is professor in the School of Urban and Regional Planning at Ryerson University and previously held the position of school director from 2011 to 2018. Before joining Ryerson, he was a faculty member and chair of the urban planning program at the University of Wisconsin-Milwaukee. And of course, Christopher, you will all well know, is currently the president of the Canadian Brownfields Network. Renee Rakowski brings her past experience as a consulting geoscientist specializing in brownfield investigation and redevelopment to her municipal role as manager of environmental compliance with the city of Orillia. She assists various city departments in supporting brownfield redevelopment locally while communicating complex environmental information at a practical level to best educate and inform decision makers to help realize the catalytic and transformative benefits. Pauline Pingason completed her literary background by a diploma in management and a specialized master in strategic management and sustainability in France. After a mission in an NGO in the United States, she worked at Utopies, the first French sustainable consultancy. She developed expertise on responsible consumption, social economic impact, and sustainable higher education by running the network Campus Responsibles, gathering around 40 universities in France and Belgium. After moving to Canada, she joined the Green Municipal Fund at the Federation of Canadian Municipalities to develop knowledge products and peer learning activities to help Canadian cities sharing best practices and becoming more sustainable. And of course, Pauline is in charge of managing the national network gathering local governments around leadership in brownfield renewal. Renee, Pauline, Chris, thank you so much for joining me for today's conversation.
Thanks for having us.
Let's dive right in. I'm just going to put it out here because you guys come with three very different perspectives on this. So let me ask, from your perspective, does a stigma still exist around the word brownfield in Canada? Christopher, why don't you kick us off? I keep wanting to call you Christopher. I know I can call you Chris, but force a habit.
Well, if it's Christopher, I'm in trouble. Especially if it's all my full name, then I'm running. Well, we created the term brownfield to get rid of the stigma associated with the word Superfund site or potentially contaminated sites. So, did it fully relieve the stigma? No. It's still around. That said, it really is dependent on the market and the size of the city you're in. So if you're in a big city where you've used up all your green fields, then it's just what you have to deal with. If you're in a strong market city, then really developing on a brownfield is just a real estate deal with a green twist. That said, if you're in a smaller urbanized area with lots of green fields available and those sites sit there, then they might have stigma around contamination, but they also have historical value. Some of these sites are, especially the more attractive ones, are just places that can celebrate the history of that community. So there is stigma, but, it's not as bad as Superfund or contaminated. Let's just put it that way.
Pauline, what's your experience with it?
Thank you for having me first. And that's very interesting because I guess my perspective is a bit different from you guys because I'm not Canadian. So when I came to Canada, I was first discovering the brownfield world. And it's been my reality since I arrived here. So I don't feel like there's a stigma per se, but probably, kind of discrepancy between the challenges we face when we deal with brownfields, and at the same time there's very innovative projects, very powerful technologies, and I guess if we can combine that both, then we will kind of overcome the stigma some can face when dealing with brownfields.
Renee, this is something that you are dealing with at the community level. You've actually had to communicate this out to your public. What has been the reaction when you use the word brownfield, talking to the citizens of Orillia and trying to get them on board?
Well, I would certainly say that about 5 years ago, I'd say there was quite a stigma here locally in Orillia. People were afraid of the term. They didn't know what it meant for them and if they could enjoy those sites safely. But I'm happy to say that on October 26th, our big brownfield site, Recreation Center, opened to the public. And we've seen a big change in how people are approaching brownfields in our community. And we're seeing more of an appetite to tackle them and be more forthcoming and straightforward with what's going on at those sites. So we're starting to see that stigma locally reduce somewhat, but it takes a lot of work and education to try to make sure people understand that.
So I want to expand on that because I'm sure there are people that are watching this panel discussion saying, ooh, so what can I do? What did you do that I can then steal to then go use in the community or the project that I'm trying to develop? Can you just give me a couple examples of some of the education that you did in the city of Orillia to really get citizens who, yeah, probably heard the word brownfield and got a little scared by it, and kind of, get them to transition over to, no, this is a really good thing. We're building something really cool on this site.
Yeah, so I'd say we really tried to approach things a little bit differently on how we began our messaging in the community. So thank you to FCM and their Green Municipal Fund. We were successful in achieving some funding for another brownfield that is municipally owned. And instead of keeping that information quiet and low key, we decided we'd celebrate ourselves. So we did a press release. We talked about the FCM funding and also acknowledged that the site is a brownfield and we're working towards its beneficial reuse. So we saw far less outcry or frustration from the public when we were just up straightforward and celebrated the successes that are also tied to that site as a brownfield. The other suggestion I would leave is we started doing some presentations, and thanks to Chris, we were able to present at the Canadian Brownfield Network on this project. And we tried something unique. And instead of trying to communicate at such a complex level all the time, as we are all guilty of, we got some cartoons done and we got some infographics done. And we tried to share the story of the brownfield in Orillia at a very public level and compared it to conquering a giant and had a very simple, easy to follow story. And then we use that in our messaging in the community as well to help the public understand the story in a different way. So we use storytelling and ways to relate to the community and just try to dissect that really complex messaging in a way that everyone can understand.
Pauline, I'm sure in your role you hear a lot about this very issue of people just trying to get their communities over the hump to understand that brownfield redevelopment is a very vital part of urban redevelopment, of infill development. I'm just kind of wondering, what are some of the tools that FCM is using to be able to help communities educate their citizens about, how to continue to build a positive image around brownfield redevelopment?
Sure. So in the LIBRE network, the Leadership in Brownfield Network, the city of Orillia is part of, we actually offer the members a 7-step framework to kind of help the municipal practitioners navigate through the brownfield remediation process. And one of the steps of this framework, is actually about promoting programs and fostering opportunities towards various stakeholders. So it can be, of course, developers, but also the public, like the citizens. And what we can see is that the way municipalities tackle that is very different because, of course, they all have their own situation. And as Renee just mentioned, the cartoons and making sure the information is accessible to everyone is one way of doing it. I know that some other municipalities also held some public consultation to make sure they also hear from their citizens to make sure they address the right needs. And you can have so many different ways of working on that. But again, I guess what is really powerful here is how we can also spread the word and make sure what's been done in the municipality and that it was working could actually be replicated somewhere else. So we just have to make sure this story is also, shared somewhere else. So definitely sharing among practitioners is a way to help accelerate these good practices.
And thanks to Anne, one of your colleagues who looks to be sharing some of those great resources that you have in the chat. So thank you very much for sharing that as well. Chris, from an academic perspective, how do you approach the word brownfield in order to make sure that it continues to have a positive spin on the term and it's focused on the positive redevelopment that it creates?
Yeah, I think the shift away from brownfields as liability to brownfields as opportunity has been very important. In fact, when that the shift in perspective from contaminated site to brownfield site happened with that shift in the U.S. in the mid-90s. That was the whole point, was to look at these sites as potential opportunities. I think. Governments, what we're doing today is essential, celebrating best practices, governments funding those first sites, those early projects that help break the stigma, whether it's sites like the distillery in Toronto and Falls Creek in Vancouver. These were large scale, very prominent sites that, people could see a future for these properties. What you find is also the tone. If you look at the UK, for instance, the word brownfield means previously developed land. So, and that's because the tone, the tone the government has put is more focusing on land reuse as opposed to cleanup of contamination. And so in Ontario, I think, and in most Canadian communities, we've done a good job at situating brownfields as better places to grow than greenfields and protecting our agricultural and natural space. So just keeping that tone and focusing on how we could use brownfields for housing, for retail, for even reindustrialization. This is a positive tone that governments can, just make sure is emphasized.
We know that for the last few years, the Canadian Brownfields Network has very much stressed this idea of brownfields first. When you're looking within your urban municipality at development, look at your brownfield sites first, clean those up first, make those reactivated into positive community assets. Renee, just from a municipality perspective, is that the attitude that you're seeing, at least in the city, from a general sense, or is this the projects that you're pushing forward, or how is it that it was that you were able to get such an important community asset built on a brownfield site?
So to be quite honest with you, I think the number one reason, and I've stressed this with developers locally as well, is location, location, location. It would not have been possible for the city to realize such a wonderful community asset in our downtown core. This is 36 acres of land we were able to bring back into productive use solely because of its location. And I think that we're seeing a renewal in a lot of municipalities, or really a size at least, where they're cherishing their downtown, their historic core. They're trying to revitalize and renew that rather than this sprawl trend. And I think that brownfields are going to play an even bigger part as those communities really look to harness the power of their downtown cores and bring more services to their community within those areas. So I think we're only in our infancy of being open, but I think we're seeing a huge benefit to the residents here. There might have been some hurt feelings and some negative feelings from the past, but they're starting to understand, even in a limited capacity, what a great gathering place this is going to be for the city.
Pauline, is this similar to what you're experiencing from the stories you're getting told by the communities you're working with through the Libre program?
Well, it makes me think about one of the new programs that has been launched this year by FCM and the Green Municipal Fund, which is about sustainable, affordable housing. So there's clearly, a link to do here to make sure that the brownfield sites, of course, will be remediated, but what's the next step? What's the development plan? What do we have in mind to make sure it's completely integrated with the city plan in itself? And this is where we can start drawing some lines between everything. And I think this is definitely great opportunities for the brownfield sites to make sure we could also expand a bit what we usually do. So, for instance, one of the latest trends is also to have these kind of interim uses of these brownfield sites to make sure, even if we don't have a long-term plan, or we can think about something in between having a more long-term plan. So there's a way to adapt and to be very nimble, and I think this is an opportunity to take here.
Chris, from an academic perspective, are we starting to see research in this field that is helping to support this drive to be able to develop brownfields in urban settings now that we have so many great case studies and examples of successful projects in urban cores?
Oh, definitely. I think, some research I did recently on Toronto, on Ontario, looked at RSCs from 2004 to 2015. And basically the amount of brownfields redeveloped was the size of Boston, 54,000 acres of new development. In Toronto alone, about 80,000 plus housing units, condos constructed on sites that had to go through a record of site condition process. So we see the data shows that in large urban markets, in particular, Ottawa, Toronto, Vancouver, brownfields are quite competitive and doing quite well in this, and location is the most important thing. But we have to realize that costs, risks, time delays are all real things, and if we want to attract the private market, we have to help address those. And I think the private sector, in addition to being open-minded about brownfields and coming to brownfields, needs support from the public sector, especially get those early projects done, and to help clean up those locations. Whether it's the cities are building parks or new infrastructure, to help kind of go hand in hand with the private sector efforts to build. But there's a lot of development in Toronto. Hundreds of thousands of people live on former brownfields, and it doesn't get the attention it should. But from a large scale perspective, we're seeing that throughout the U.S., throughout Canada, and throughout Europe. So.
And yet here's Renee in a city that is not a massive market, Toronto, a Vancouver, and Ottawa, and you still got done. But Chris brought up a really interesting point around risk. And I'm just wondering what you were able to do on that portfolio with your developer to make sure that risk was managed, because I'm sure that's a real concern still for this industry.
So with the city, we were the acting developer on the site. So we had our contractor, we had a qualified team to assist us. So we definitely looked to the experts in the field to manage that risk for us. And I'd say as a municipality, we're typically very risk adverse. So we had quite an extensive team to make sure that that was covered off for us. I'd also say that we learned as city staff, and there's been many staff involved through this project the whole course. I'm just coming in at the end. They've learned a lot through that process too. And I think that was a great learning opportunity for us as a municipality, so that now when we're assisting developers through this process, we know what they've gone through. We can be a bit more compassionate and understanding to the requirements. And likewise on our other brownfield site right now, where we're going through that process as well with potential purchasers, we're very aware of what the risks are and why it's so important to have the right purchaser for that site.
And I'm going to give the last word to Pauline, because just to build on some of the concerns that are still emerging around brownfield redevelopment. Just wondering, what are you still hearing from the municipalities you're working with, and what supports are you able to provide to ensure that the challenge of redeveloping a brownfield becomes less and less?
Sure. Well, I guess every day comes with its new challenges, of course. But what I can see lately is that, and Renee, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think that the economic aspect of brownfield redevelopment is really, really a hot topic right now, especially during, of course, the post-COVID recovery. It's even more relevant. And of course, there's also this aspect of, and there's one question in the chat box very relevant. We are talking about, big municipalities, big cities, but what about more small and rural communities? What about their way of dealing with the brownfields, and how we make sure we also provide useful information for both more advanced practitioners and communities where they feel like they're ready to start, but they are not yet at the very more advanced levels. So I'd say, yeah, for sure, the economic aspect is key, and also all these new waves of thinking about brownfields, and Chris touched a bit on that when we talk about bright fields, when we talk about green fields, how to make sure we expand a bit, I guess.
Perfect. Well, thank you very much. I don't know if you saw, apparently David Harper decided to throw down a gauntlet in the chat of next steps that he's hoping to see from FCM. So we'll have to circle back with you next year to see if you were able to do anything for David and his request. Pauline, Renee, Chris, thank you so very much for joining me for the panel discussion. Greatly appreciate your time. But I think it's now time that we move on to the award. So thank you so very much. And it is my privilege to turn things back over to the boss man himself, Mr. Todd Latham. Todd, take over,
please. Thank you, Andrew. Thanks, Andrew. Thank you very much to our panel. I'm glad we're having this conversation. Seems like brownfields are likely easier than COVID in terms of managing it. So moving on, this is the awards presentation part. We're going to do 3 awards to start, and then we're going to have a break. This is how it's going to work. For each award category, I'm going to call up the sponsor, just like we did in the live, but there won't be as much of a pause as they come up on stage. I'm going to call on the sponsor to present the award. The sponsor is going to come on screen, say a little bit about themselves, and then we'll cut to a brief presentation about the finalists. And then I will promise not to miss my cue, and the sponsor will come back on screen to announce the winner. The winners will then be called up on screen to say a few words, or we will play their video. Just a reminder that sponsors have 2 minutes to talk about their company and introduce the award, and the winners will have 1 minute to provide their acceptance remarks. And I have to be the heavy. If you take too long, Natasha's in the next room. She's going to cut off your video feed, and I'm going to admonish you publicly. So there we go. Now the first of our 3 awards, and then we take a break to enjoy the brownie mix presented by Harris. Hopefully many of you got them. And then we'll do 7 awards after the break. So this is how we roll. First award, category 1 is reprogram. Our first award is going to be introduced by John Georgiopoulos, partner at Williams & Shire and vice chair of the Canadian Brownfields Network. And John, we're not going to mess this up again, even pretending. So over to you. John is making his way to the stage, virtually, of course, to present the reprogram finalists. And if he doesn't come up, then the Williams & Shire logo will. It's been an ongoing joke with John and I over the years. I think it was a few years back, we actually did have a technical glitch. And then last year we pretended to have a technical glitch, and there's John. Welcome.
Thank you, Todd. Good afternoon, everyone. I'm John Georgiopoulos, co-managing partner at Williams & Shire Environmental Lawyers. Our firm is Canada's leading environmental law firm with offices in Toronto, Ottawa, Calgary, and Yellowknife. We're also proud to announce that our firm has been selected as Law Firm of the Year in Environmental Law by Best Lawyers for 2021. So very exciting news there. Today, I have the honor of announcing the Brownie Award recipient for the reprogram category. The finalists for the reprogram category are Housing Now, Brownfields Modernization and Excess Soil Regulation, and Pier 8 Redevelopment.
Housing Now is an initiative for the development of affordable housing within mixed income, mixed use, and transit-oriented communities on 11 city-owned properties. Create TO has bridged the gap between the private sector and government parties to transform underutilized city sites into vibrant community hubs. Housing Now will increase and accelerate the creation of affordable housing opportunities for households with diverse income levels. Brownfields Modernization and Excess Soil Regulation. The Ontario Ministry of Environment, Conservation and Parks undertook multiple initiatives to facilitate brownfield redevelopment in Ontario, engaging industry, staff from multiple ministries, and municipalities to identify issues and explore solutions. New regulation was introduced, setting requirements for the reuse of excess soil to enable greater beneficial reuse of these soils. Amendments were made to the record of site condition regulation that reduce regulatory burden and barriers to timely deliver of record of site condition filings and risk assessment acceptances. Pier 8 redevelopment. Tillman Consulting and the City of Hamilton led and obtained the risk assessment and record of site condition for the Pier 8 redevelopment, attracting more interest from private developers and increasing market value of the development blocks. Proactive engagement with ministry officials improved the RA and RSC process in a manner that can be replicated by private and public sectors for other neighborhood-scale brownfield redevelopments in Ontario. The risk assessment for Pier 8 was completed as a single submission for the 16 individual blocks, fast-tracking the development process and resulting in a single certificate of property use with scalable implementation of risk management measures by development block. John, over to you to announce our winner.
And the winner of the Reprogram Award is Brownfields Modernization and Excess Soil Regulation. Accepting the award on behalf of the team that developed the regulation is Sanjay Coelho of the Ontario Ministry of Environment, Conservation and Parks. Sanjay.
Well, what a wonderful surprise. Thank you very much. I do want to thank say very much thanks to the Canadian Brownfields Network for this award and to Actual Media for organizing the virtual event. You know, to be recognized by your peers is a huge honor, and we do consider the folks in the brownfields industry to be our peers. The new and updated excess soil and brownfields regulatory framework and program is intended to make things safer, clearer, and easier for the management of excess soil and the redevelopment of brownfields. And we really wouldn't be here without the input and commitment over many years from a range of industry stakeholders. We actually completed this over 5 ERO postings from 2017 to the present and made things better, we hope, every time with stakeholder input along the way. Now, we're continuing to examine ways to improve our regulations and programs, and we're grateful for the ongoing input we continue to receive and the partnerships we've developed. So I would just conclude in saying, you know, we're so pleased to have this, but it's really your victory as well. So many folks on this event have participated. So thank you very, very much.
Thank you, John, and thank you, Sanjay. Congratulations to MECP. This award is on its way. Well, not this one, the one that looks like it, that has your name on it, is on its way to you. So next category, category 2, is under the remediate category, and it's going to be presented by my good friends Manny Saide, who is the National Lead for Business Development at Milestone Environmental Contracting. Over to you, Manny.
Hey, Todd. Hello, everybody. Happy to be here today. Milestone Environmental Contracting has been a long-standing and proud sponsor of the Canadian Brownfield Network and the annual Brownie Awards. So on behalf of the whole Milestone family and some of my friends who will actually help me deliver our message tonight, congratulations to all the 2020 award nominees. So Milestone is honored to present the Remediate Award, as this type of work is actually core to what we do. And the we in Milestone that I refer to are our people. Take it away, Donnie.
Our strengths are the ability to put together a strong team to address all of our clients' needs. Right, Jesse?
That's right, Donnie. Milestone has taken the lead and been directly involved in some of the most complex remediation projects ever completed in Canada. What's really neat is that Milestone embraces our commitment to ensuring that the community we serve benefits from the lasting effects that result from our projects, and that includes safety.
The current pandemic has caused us to up our game on the health and safety of our workers. We've always fostered a strong culture of safety awareness to ensure everyone we work with goes home safely.
Thanks, Boya. We are proud of our partnership with Milestone.
Together, we have a joint vision and have worked together to foster meaningful engagement and improving the socioeconomic conditions of our communities, something your CEO and everyone on your team embraces. Miigwech.
Thanks, Andy and Wanda. Great to see you both again at the Brownies. There's no doubt this year has brought many challenges. I'm very proud of the way that the Milestone team and its partners have worked together. That's how we get through tough challenges, together with teamwork. We have a goal of being a better team and a better company as a result. Thank you all again for joining us at the Brownies to celebrate teamwork and great projects.
At Milestone, we have all come together to tackle some of the country's oldest, toughest legacy sites to improve the land and the water across this country.
It's why we do what we do. And it's one of the reasons we founded Milestone. So go ahead, give us your toughest jobs. We dare you.
And Manny, the winner
and
is.
The finalists are.
Wait. Sorry,
Nope.
I screwed up. Over to Andrew to talk about the finalists. Sorry about that.
Nope.
Todd trying to steal everyone's thunder. There are 5 finalists for the remediate category: Portland's area block and absorb pilot scale testing. WSP Canada and Vertex Environmental implemented an innovative technology at the pilot scale to sustainably remediate contaminated soils in the Toronto Portlands on behalf of Waterfront Toronto. Block and absorb in situ technology immobilized LNAPL contaminants and increased geotechnical soil stability, making reuse of soils on site possible. The technology avoided the broader environmental impacts associated with excavation and off-site disposal of soils. Parc d'Entreprise de la Pointe Saint Charles Environmental Remediation. The City of Montreal constructed a 1.9 kilometer bentonite cement slurry wall, as well as groundwater collection and treatment to stop migration of contaminated groundwater into the St. Lawrence River. The project utilized an innovative groundwater treatment process designed to limit use of raw materials and residue generation. The project was carried out in coordination with the city's urban planning department to support redevelopment of 123 hectares of contaminated lands and to provide public access to the shores of the St. Lawrence River. Remediation of former firearm firing range. A unique approach implemented by Summit Earthworks and Keystone Environmental for Elevate Development Corporation to manage soils contaminated with lead for firearms and clay targets. Stakeholder engagement with the BC Ministry of Environment and Climate Change Strategy proved useful to provide policy direction to enable separation of debris and separate treatment of lead-contaminated soils using stabilization at a significant reduction in costs for soil management and disposal. Successful remediation enabled financing and permitting of the property for mixed-use residential and commercial development. Former retail outlet soil treatment program. Trace Associates remediated petroleum hydrocarbon contamination on a former retail fuel outlet using temporary land treatment on a nearby property. Treatment reduced PHC concentrations by 95% and material was returned to the site as backfill. Methodology resulted in avoidance of $2 million in costs and 160 tons of carbon dioxide equivalent in emissions versus a typical dig and dump. And lastly, the Sambo landfill remediation project. Golder carried out environmental studies, risk analysis, and remediation processes over years of work to ensure overall environmental management of a site subjected to decades of illegal landfilling activities. Project favored local risk management by containing or treating contaminated media and used innovative electrocoagulation technology to treat groundwater to reduce generation of byproducts. The former landfill is now home to controlled green space, blending harmoniously into the landscape. Manny, over to you to introduce our winner.
Thank you. So the winner of the Remediate Award is Parc d'entreprise de la Pointe Saint-Charles Environmental Remediation, Montreal, Quebec. Accepting the award is José Sanson and Claire Burkhart from the City of Montreal. Congratulations.
Thank you to the Canadian Brownfield Network and all the sponsors for the organization of this event, and of course for this award. We are very proud to accept it. I would like also to congratulate all the others finalists.
This project required efforts for many people and could not have been taken place without the support of the politicians of the City of Montreal and the Environmental Service Department. More than 300 people worked or were involved in overall planning and implementation of the project. Special thanks to Claire, who was the engineer, project manager, as well as Marion Arzabalaga, engineer in charge of the plant startup, to Constanza Lara Hogan, who's our field technician, and Jonathan Bezot and Dua Bouraoui, who are in charge of the construction of the whole thing, the screen, the wall, the slurry wall, and the plant. Also, a sincere thank to Majid Benabes of SNC Lavalin, who was the project director responsible for design all to the construction of the nice solution we put in place. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Manny and Milestone, for that presentation, and congratulations again to the City of Montreal. Moving right on to category 3, which is reinvest. And to present our third award today is Terry Obel, Chief Science Advisor at BV Labs. Over to you, Terry.
Well, thank you very much, Todd, and good afternoon, everybody. Bureau Veritas is proud to be a sponsor for this year's Brownie Awards, in particular the Reinvest Award. As Todd says, my name is Terry Obel, and I'm the Chief Science Advisor at Bureau Veritas Laboratories. An important component of my role within Bureau Veritas, and one that I feel is consistent with the spirit of the Brownie Awards, is to ensure that sound science and its value are fully available to our customers, to regulators, and to the public. With that said, and with your indulgence, on behalf of Bureau Veritas, I would like to congratulate all of the 2020 Brownie Award winners. Bureau Veritas is a world leader in laboratory testing, inspection, and certification services. Established in 1828, the Bureau Veritas Group has grown to more than 78,000 employees located in over 1,500 offices and laboratories around the world. Integrity is fundamental to the Bureau Veritas culture and the services that we provide. As such, we're dedicated to building trust between our client companies, public authorities, and consumers. Bureau Veritas Laboratories, a member of the Bureau Veritas Group, has been a leader in analytical services and solutions to the environmental, energy, industrial hygiene, food, and DNA industries for over 50 years. With an extensive network of laboratories across Canada, our testing services and scientific expertise support critical decisions that improve operational performance, reduce risk, and help customers meet safety, quality, and regulatory objectives. And now to the Reinvest Award. The finalists in this category are Lakefield Village in Mississauga, Ontario, and the City of Guelph Snow Management Facility.
Okay, let's hear more about the finalists.
Lakeview Village. Lakeview Community Partners purchased a 177-acre brownfield site, home to the former OPG coal generating plant, and embarked on plans to transform the site into a vibrant mixed-use community. 67 acres of the waterfront will be given back to the City of Mississauga and transformed into a waterfront park with 3.5 kilometers of waterfront trails. Lakeview Village is proposing innovative solutions to address climate change, energy resiliency, waste management, and mobility challenges, including autonomous vehicles, a district energy system to heat and cool over 100 buildings, and a vacuum waste collection system. City of Guelph Snow Management Facility. GHD and the City of Guelph developed a state-of-the-art snow management facility designed to manage de-icing and automobile fluid contaminants to protect source water and minimize impacts to wetlands. The facility uses a geosynthetic clay liner and treatment train to remove solids, remove hydrocarbons, and dampen chloride discharge concentrations. Enhancements to the facility include the installation of net metering solar panels, improved ecological habitat, pollinator-friendly plantings, increased plant species diversity, increased nesting habitat for birds, amphibians, and/or turtles, and improved security measures to mitigate illegal dumping. Terry, over to you to announce our winner.
And the winner of the Reinvest Award is Lakeview Village, Mississauga, Ontario. Accepting the award on behalf of the Lakeview Village Development Team is Brian Sutherland.
Come on up, Brian.
Thank you very much. On behalf of Lakeview Community Partners and our entire team, I'd like to thank the jury, the Brownies, and the Canadian Brownfield Network for this exciting award. Special thanks to one of our partners, John Dale at CCI, and also Rob and Roxander from EXP for their leadership on the brownfield remediation strategy for this project. And also huge thanks and credit to the entire team at TAC Construction for their work out on site. Over the last 2 years, TAC has removed over 250,000 tons of concrete from the former Lakeview power plant and hauled it and donated it to the Jim Toby Lakeview Conservation Area. So the former foundations of a coal-burning, polluting power plant can now forever be the foundation of a brand new coastal conservation area. An amazing collaboration and partnership and kickstart to the rebirth and revitalization of the waterfront in Southeast Mississauga. I want to thank all our partners again, our entire consulting team, everyone at the Credit Valley Conservation Authority, Toronto Region Conservation Authority, Region of Peel, and of course the City of Mississauga for the ongoing collaboration and partnerships on this very unique and exciting project. Thank you all again.
Thanks, Terry, for presenting the award, and congratulations, Brian, and the entire Lakeview Village team. I know there's a lot of people involved in that, as you've congratulated and thanked. You'll be getting one of these in the mail shortly. If it's, I don't. When are we mailing those out?
I think they're in the mail.
Okay, so all the award winners are going to be getting them within the day. So we're now going to take a short break, and if you registered early, which you should have done, you're going to get one of these, brownie in a mug. Go and open it right now. Pour yourself a little bit of brownie in a mug. We asked Duncan Hines, who created all this, to put a little special something in half of them. as I promised last year, cannabis is now legal, so we've asked them to put a little bit of cannabis in some of them. So some of you will have a better second half of the Brownie Awards than the rest of us. All kidding aside, go have your Brownie Award mix, and we'll be back here. What time will we be back, gang?
4:20.
4:20. So back here at 4:20. Congratulations to our 3 winners so far, and we'll be back at 4:20 for the rest. Have a good break. Welcome back, everybody. I think we're live. I'm opening my Brownie Award mix right now, and I notice it's a package, beautiful design. Look at dig in, everybody. So hopefully you enjoyed that. When they said they were sending out a brownie mix to everybody, I thought it was going to be a playlist with songs. Like "Digging in the Dirt" by Big Sugar, or that's Peter Gabriel, actually, or Big Sugar, "Digging in a Hole," or "Under the Boardwalk," U2, "Streets Without Name." Anyway, next year, we're going to send an actual brownie playlist mix. Tape mix. Okay, moving on. Thanks for coming back. We now have 7 more awards to present, and the first of those 7 is the Rebuild category. And I'd like to welcome Denise Latchin, who's Senior Environmental Engineer at Golder, to present the award. Where's Denise? She's coming up on the stage. There she is. Nice dress, Denise. Love it. She's not wearing a dress. I'm sure she's sitting in her home office, logging in right now. I miss everybody. Do you guys miss me? Really? Really? Okay. I can't hear you. Don't answer that. There's Denise.
Do you see me now?
Yeah, love it. Awesome.
My special brownie. So
over to you.
Thanks, Todd. Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Denise Lakeen. I'm a Senior Environmental Engineer with Golder, and I'm excited to be here today to present the Rebuild Brownie Award. And congratulations to all the finalists and the award winners so far. So to start off the afternoon, just wanted to give you a little brief introduction to Golder. At Golder, we provide consulting, design, and construction services in the specialized area of earth and environment, differentiated through technical excellence, innovative solutions, and award-winning client service. We've been employee-owned since 1960. We have more than 7,500 people operating in 155 offices worldwide, and we deliver strong technical understanding, cross-disciplinary thinking, and a passion to help our clients succeed. Today, as we celebrate 60 years in business, our Canadian operations now include more than 2,600 staff based out of 34 offices across Canada. We have a strong integrated team of environmental and geotechnical professionals with decades of experience in site assessment, risk assessment, remediation, environmental due diligence, geotechnical, geological, and hydrogeological assessments, as well as other infrastructure, brownfield, and urban renewal projects, all requiring multidisciplinary environmental and ground engineering services. Through Golder's global community of technical experts, we share ideas and approaches in solving complex issues. At Golder, we thrive on challenges like brownfields. Golder has a long-standing relationship supporting the Canadian Brownfield Network through our membership activities, including participation from some of our brownfield experts on the CBN Technical Advisory Committee. Golder has had the privilege of being associated with a number of brownfield projects that have either been nominated or received Brownie Awards in the past. And with that, I am very excited to present the 2020 finalists for the Rebuild category.
And the finalists, they're on the screen.
Reunion Crossing. Diamond Kilmer Developments assembled 3 vacant brownfield sites, transforming these into a transit-oriented, vibrant new mixed-use community, a catalyst for the transformation of the St. Clair and Old Weston Road area. The design integrates a mix of mid-rise and low-rise residential components, providing critical missing middle housing in the City of Toronto and introducing new uses and density in a form of appropriate for the surrounding residential neighborhood scale. The development will introduce a new 857 square meter public park with a network of paths and green spaces, and includes a block of affordable housing delivered in partnership with Habitat for Humanity. 75 Billy Bishop. Create TO bridge the gap between the private sector and government to facilitate the infill development of an underutilized brownfield site that increases intensification around a transit node. The project improves soil quality and reused existing infrastructure in the form of a LEED certified shell building. The resulting 50,000 square foot retail center added 130 new jobs to the local economy. West Niagara Secondary School and new Ridgeview Garden Center. Remediation activities on the site will allow for the construction of a new secondary school accommodating 1,500 students in areas of projected growth. Construction waste was segregated and moved to a licensed landfill, allowing remaining soils to be managed within the property. The project achieved resolution of a long-standing MECP order, facilitation of a new school location, and reinvigoration of a local garden center business. Bata Shoe Factory. The redevelopment of the Bata Shoe Factory is the first phase of the late Sonia Bata's vision for the revitalization of the town of Ottawa, established as a company town in 1939. The project involved the adaptive reuse of the original Bata Shoe Factory into a mixed-use residential, commercial, and community building. The renovated building retained the original concrete structure, saving close to 80% of the original building's embodied carbon, and uses a geothermal system for its HVAC needs, reducing CO2 emissions to nearly zero. Denise, over to you to announce the winner of the Rebuild Award.
Thank you. And the winner of the Rebuild Award is 75 Billy Bishop, Toronto, Ontario. Woohoo!
All right, congratulations.
And accepting the award on behalf of 75 Billy Bishop Development Team is Tracy Smith. Over to you, Tracy.
We're waiting for Tracy. I'm hearing in the background that she's having trouble connecting. She's coming. Again, this is like getting up on stage, right? There she is.
Thank you. Thank you very much. I'm shocked because of all the the finalists that were in this award. Great to be accept this. I would like to acknowledge, especially Terrapex Environmental. They were very instrumental in facilitating this and completing the Brownfield forest on this site. It was a great project, and thank you again. I'm very shocked and surprised and really appreciative. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Denise, and congratulations to the whole team at 75 Billy Bishop. That was wonderful. You'll get one of these. And I just remind everybody who won today, when you get your award, please take a picture of yourself and your team in your office, or you're not going to be all together probably. So one of you should take a picture and tag it and send it to us, and we'll include it in our postmortem. So moving on to category number 5, the Renew category, my favorite category, named after our magazine, Renew Canada, of course. It's our 5th award, and I'd like to welcome Shannon Richardson, an Associate Project Director at GHD, to present the award. Over to you, Shannon.
Hi, my name's Shannon Richardson, and I'm honored to be representing GHD today. GHD is pleased to sponsor and present the Canadian Brownfield Network's Renew Award as it aligns with GHD's values and corporate objectives. GHD is one of the world's leading professional services companies operating in the global markets of water, energy and resources, environment, property and buildings, and transportation. GHD is committed to sustainable development and to improving the physical, natural, and social environments of the communities that we operate in within Canada and around the world. We recently released a new strategy focused on urbanization and communities, which has taken on a huge importance in recent months. We aspire to create better community spaces, places, and experiences, develop connected infrastructure to support mobility and other needs, leverage new models for funding of effective design, and embrace sustainability to create a safer, healthier, and more resilient world. We strive alongside our clients to create lasting community benefits and to make water, energy, and urbanization sustainable for future generations. I would like to take this time to congratulate all of the award finalists this evening for their dedication to adaptive and innovative community transformations. Your work will, work will inspire others to contribute to the growth of healthy communities across Canada. And the finalists are?
Finalists.
Crosstown Celestica. The Crosstown project will transform the 60 acres constituting the former Canadian IBM headquarters into a mixed-use neighborhood in the heart of Toronto, including residential, parkland, community, and commercial uses. 5,000 residential units, 800,000 square feet of commercial space, and a new community center will create a transit-oriented development community adjacent to the new Eglinton LRT. The development is implementing turnkey technology to improve livability while integrating the historic architecture of heritage buildings. Barrel Yards. The Barrel Yards transformed a 12.7-acre former industrial site into a vibrant, livable, workable, and sustainable community in the core of Waterloo. The development contains 1,200 residential units, including townhomes, rental, and condominium apartments, alongside a 1-acre park supporting Waterloo's transition from an industrial to post-industrial economy. The project incorporates the city's rich heritage using industrial artifacts that have been installed in several places as a nod to the city's history. Garrison Crossing. Garrison Crossing. This city building project, led by Creatio, made optimal use of existing infrastructure and reconnected underutilized city sites with the surrounding neighborhood. 2 bridge structures were installed, providing critical infrastructure for active transportation and connecting previously isolated neighborhoods and parks. This project was carefully crafted in a way that phasing could occur alongside the environmental cleanup. Midtown Gateway Project. This city building project, led by Creatio, made optimal use of The city of Nanaimo embarked on a multi-phase, multidisciplinary project to transform a legacy brownfield property into a revitalized neighborhood gateway. The project created an engineered wetland, public space, and new roadways that embrace active transportation and complete streets principles. The remediation approach, using human health and ecological risk assessment, will unlock significant development opportunities and stimulate neighborhood-scale reinvestment. And now, to announce our winner.
And the winner is?
The winner is
Shannon?
Crosstown Celestica. Congratulations.
Oh, this is great.
Oh.
Thank you so much. This is a historic moment in our company. We're a builder developer, and we just got into this project with all of our hearts, and we have a great team behind us. EXP Engineering has been with us since day one, and they're helping us along the way. Great team of our architects, core architects, and a great team at Aspen Ridge with all the support that we get. And I want to say, I should say thank you to the City of Toronto for this, helping us along the way with rezoning and working with us in a very professional manner to be able to deliver this project. This is incredible, and thank you so much.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Shannon and GHD, for sponsoring that category. And thank you to the entire team at Crosstown Celestica. We are right near that development, actually, at the actual media office. And I know it's looking very good. And obviously with Eglinton, Crosstown soon to be finished, that will be a robust neighborhood for sure. Our 6th category, category-specific category, is now going to be presented, and I welcome Pauline Pingeson, who is with the Federation of Canadian Municipalities Green Municipal Fund. You heard from her before, of course, she was on the panel. Over to you now, Pauline.
Thank you, Ted, and hi again, everyone. My name is Pauline Pingeson. I'm a project officer at the Green Municipal Fund at FCM, and on behalf of the Federation of Canadian Municipalities, I am honored to announce this year's winner for the Reach Out category. This award recognizes achievement in the areas of communications, marketing, and public engagement. And this is also what we do at the Green Municipal Fund, in addition to offering funding to support green initiatives among Canadian municipalities. This unique program was created 20 years ago, and last year, in 2019, the Government of Canada endowed the Green Municipal Fund with an unprecedented $1 billion to provide, among other things, funding for brownfield strategies and environmental site assessments. This new endowment also allowed the launch of major energy programs and a sustainable, affordable housing programs to support municipalities in their retrofits and their energy efficiency, which can also be linked to brownfield projects. So we are one of the well-known and recognized financing sources for brownfield remediation projects in Canada. And we also offer learning activities and peer learning opportunities municipalities can access by joining the Leadership in Brownfield Renewal Network, also known as, and we use the lovely acronym, the LIBRE Network. FCM's Green Municipal Fund is really proud to sponsor the Reach Out Award today. And without further ado, the finalists are Community Wellbeing Framework, the Midway, Toronto and Regional Conservation Authority, Portland's Flood Protection.
The Community Wellbeing Framework. Dialogue Design developed a catalytic framework helping citizens see the value in transforming underutilized properties in their communities across Canada. The framework is the result of a multi-year research project which sought to develop evidence-based metrics for defining and evaluating the built environment's contributions to community well-being. The framework enables redevelopment of brownfields in a holistic manner, addressing not only the health of natural systems, but also the physical health of people, their mental health, social well-being, and an array of interrelated indicators. The Meadowway. The Meadowway seeks to redevelop a hydro corridor, transforming 16 kilometers of underutilized monoculture into one of the largest urban green spaces in Canada, extending Toronto's active transportation network from the downtown core to Rouge National Urban Park. Perkins and Will developed a visualization toolkit informed by field investigations, bike and walking tours, and helicopter surveys. The toolkit included experiential elements, including a 12-meter annotated map, 360-degree photos and videos, virtual and physical models, and educational programs at local schools. Portland's Flood Protection. Waterfront Toronto developed a brand awareness campaign that reached 12.6 million people, promoting the extensive flood protection project that will create 25 hectares of publicly accessible green space and parkland and unlock 240 acres of land for development. Strong public engagement focused on the outcomes of the project work under the brand Portland's 2024 and helped the public understand the future benefits that would result from the near-term construction. Engagement included a short film, blogs, creative quizzes, and a Twitter feed hosted by an excavator named Rocky. Pauline, over to you to announce the winner of the Reach Out Award.
And the winner of the Reach Out Award is the Midway, Toronto, Ontario.
Congratulations.
Hi, everybody. Thank you. Can you hear me?
Yep.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, we just wanted to say thank you to the organizers of the show, and most of all, our clients, the Toronto Region Conservation Authority, Project Manager Corey Wells, and others on the team that helped both conceive of but also implement the work. If you haven't been, the project's already implemented phase 1 2 years ago. Ongoing work is continuing, and they will be continuing as they march east through the 16 kilometers of the work. And then we just wanted to also say a great thank you to the Weston Foundation that has been the donors that have sponsored the design as well as the implementation. So thank you on behalf of both the TRCA and the Weston Foundation.
Well, congratulations again, and thank you, Pauline, for introducing the award. I run on the Meadowway from time to time. It's near my home, and I can't wait for that ending part to complete right to Rouge Valley, because then I can maybe get in the marathon run that I've been looking for on that one. Anyway, we're moving on to the next award, which is Category 7. This is for the best large project, and normally we would break now for dessert, and we'd have some networking. We're doing that on the chat, which is great, but of course we're virtual, so there's no more breaks. We're going to move right along, and so now I'd like to invite to the screen David Harper, President of Kilmer Brownfield Equity Fund, to present the award. David, come on up. I see a giant. I see the top of your head, David. You might want to move that there you go. You're good.
Okay, there we go. I want to first acknowledge Kilmer and appreciate the opportunity today to present the Best Project, Large Project Award. Kilmer's had a long-standing relationship with Actual Media, CUI, the CBN over the years, and certainly we've grown up as in the brownfield space with your Brownie Awards over its 21-year history, and it's certainly an important component to our work on a day-to-day basis. And And today, happy to say that, Kilmer, with some of its key partners, has over 5,000 units under development in mixed-use communities in Ontario, all of which are on brownfield sites. And again, most notably, we have a strong relationship with a group called Diamond Core. And so Diamond Core and ourselves have been involved in a significant project in Mississauga, where we recently won the Best Community Award from the Build Association, which is a conventional development association. So, one of the things that we talked about today is in the conference is, stigma. I would say when we're winning awards in the development world with brownfield projects, we have crossed that boundary into normal development practices. And many of the best sites that we're seeing today in the city are former brownfield sites, and we're certainly hearing about some of them in the award ceremony today. And so it's certainly a great accomplishment, and we're happy to be part of it. We also recognize as well the many professionals that are involved in the delivery of these projects, and they're on the call or participating in this conference today virtually. And I would go on to say that despite the complexities of COVID, development is alive and well in the city. We are in construction, we are in sales, and we are buying sites despite the challenges that COVID presents. And the construction industry has certainly kept the wheels turning through the whole process. As part of our developments, we are delivering affordable housing. And again, I think that's a critical issue for many new developments in urban areas, is how we can be more inclusive. And we're very proud of our partnerships with Habitat and others as we try and tackle these challenges. But again, more needs to be done, and we certainly encourage others to get involved. So without further ado, I'd like to hear more about the Best Large Projects nominees from the awards group.
We're going to go right into the winner because, as you remember from all the past years, we've taken all the nominations, and the jury then looked at all the nominations and said, which one is the best large project? So over to you on who the winner is, Dave.
Okay, and the winner for the Best Large Project is Pure 8 Redevelopment from Hamilton, Ontario. And accepting this award is Brent Loney. And this is a great project. I know Kilmer and Daniels wanted to get involved in it, but we weren't successful. So all the power to Hamilton, and a great award for that community.
Congratulations, Pier 8, and over to you to accept.
Yeah, hi there, everyone. Thank you very much. On behalf of our project team, comprising staff from both City of Hamilton and Dillon Consulting, I'd like to thank Actual Media, Canadian Brownfield Network, and all the sponsors for this award and for their leadership and support in this important field. Pier 8 Redevelopment is an exciting project for the City of Hamilton. We were very pleased to work in partnership with the city in developing an overall strategy to execute this project. We took a fresh look at things, and we appreciate their openness to taking a tailored approach that deviated in some important respects from the tried and true. We'd also like to thank the MECP, who were open to early engagement on this file, to confirm the viability of the approach, and then to collaborative engagement on structuring the risk management measures to integrate into the site's eventual single CPU. So I must admit, I didn't have the foresight to buy a bottle of champagne, so I'll be heading out to get some shortly. But thanks again, and cheers to all.
Congratulations again to everybody involved in Hamilton and Dillon for the Pier 8 redevelopment project. We're now moving on to the next category, which is the best small project, presented by Peter Sutton, who's vice president of a large company, Terrapex. Over to you, Peter. You got your mute on, I think, there, Peter. We'll try this again. No, you're still on. There you go. Give it a shot. No, can't hear you. This is typical of COVID times. I'm sure you've all been on Zoom calls or team calls when, we're trying to get people connected. We have many people working behind the scenes trying to resolve this. And can you say something now, Peter, and we'll try it again? Nope. Not coming through. Maybe one of your colleagues but Terrapex is the sponsor of this award. If you click on the link at the bottom of the screen, you can read all about what Peter was about to say. And we'll give him a couple more seconds here to pull this off. Oh, he's going high tech. He's got the headphones on. He's going to try a new technology. There's always a solution with a company like Terrapex. So over to you, Peter.
Oh, God, I hope that works. How's that?
It does. Success.
Success. It's a good thing we have all the tools. That was the third attempt on a Bluetooth device. This is the one. So I apologize for the delay. And Todd, thank you very much for the kind words about our size. It's a bit of a joke for those of you who don't know. Terrapex is not a super large company. We are about 80 people now in Ontario, and we have some folks in BC and Alberta, but we're still less than 100 people. So he was joking again. His jokes get better as the night goes on. But thank you very much. It's a pleasure to be presenting this award on behalf of Terrapex. For those of you who are not familiar with us, we are a Canadian employee-owned firm of engineers and scientists. We offer consulting services in the areas of environment, geotechnical engineering, hydrogeology, building science, and health and safety. I was going to talk about how we had a great honor of being a past Brownie Award winner in 2017, but apparently I need to update my speech. So ironically, it's the same category that we won in 2017 for this year, the rebuild category, best development at the local scale. So there's a certain symmetry to presenting the best small project. Terrapex is not the largest firm, but we have done some very large projects, and I'm sure next year you're going to hear about one of them from Mr. Harper. But given our areas of practice, it's not surprising to learn that we've been heavily involved in the development industry. And as a specialist firm founded 25 years ago to provide consulting service specifically to site assessment and remediation, we've got a lot of interest and experience with brownfield development in particular. I actually wanted to talk a little bit about what Dave Harper said about how brownfields are becoming more mainstream, because 2020 is a kind of a funny year. We've got this great awards gala, kind of a different format than we're used to, but hey, it's a great awards gala. But despite all the craziness of 2020, Terrapex, every year we reach out to some certain prominent individuals in the development industry, and we always invite them to attend the Brownie Awards. And it gets easier and easier every year. This year, to be honest, I thought it was going to be kind of tough. I mean, we're talking about basically watching an hour-and-a-half television show. But I'm really happy to report that despite all the craziness of 2020, with the individuals that we reached out to be invited guests to attend the Brownies on, as a guest of Terrapex, we had really strong interest. So we are becoming mainstream, and I would like to thank our guests. I didn't get permission to give them public shout outs, so I don't want to embarrass them, but I want to thank them, and I want to thank everyone who's attending this gala in its hopefully temporary format for your continued interest and support in brownfield redevelopment and remediation. And so with that, I would like to just put my CBN board member hat on very, very briefly and encourage everyone on this call to think about nominations for the future Brownie Awards, because I know from my professional involvement, there's a lot of really interesting and innovative brownfield projects on the go right now. I'm involved with some, but not all of them. But you know what? These projects deserve to be showcased at the 2021 Brownie Awards. But we can talk about next year, hopefully in person. Let's get to announcing this year's award. And the winner is the best small project, the Bata Shoe Factory, Bata, Ontario. Congratulations. Accepting this award on behalf of the Bata Shoe Factory project team is Heather Doubledam and Dev Mehta. Congratulations, guys.
Congratulations.
All right.
Thank you. Thank you so much. It's an absolute honor to accept this award on behalf of our team. First, we want to thank the awards committee, the jury, and everyone involved in putting this ceremony together. The recognition of brownfield projects and the work that you do is so important for our industry. We want to thank our teams, both at Quadrangle and Double Dam Architecture and Design, our engineers at Heedy, Jablonski Aston Partners, and Greer Galloway, our construction managers at Dalton, as well as our clients at the Battawa Development Corporation. Oh, Heather, you're muted.
Going low tech, does that work?
Yeah,
it works.
All right. I think this would be fair to say that this was a very rewarding project for all involved, and this was really due to the incredible vision and uncompromising standards of the late Sonia Bada, who was the driving force behind the revitalization of the old shoe factory, transforming it for a new purpose. This was her legacy project, and we know she would have been very pleased to see the community filled with new life. Being honored with his award is a testament to her legacy, so thank you so much for this.
Congratulations again, Bada. Thank you, Peter. And I'm glad we got you connected in there eventually. Congratulations again, Bada. We're moving on now to category 9, Best Overall Project. And I'm supposed to be inviting David McCrossan, president of Cannington Group, to present the award, but I see Ricardo Phillip on screen. So over to you, Ricardo.
Thanks, Todd. Yeah, you know, Dave, if you give him a choice to speak or be in an excavator, he's going to pick the excavator, and that's what he's doing right now. We've got a big project underway. Hello, everyone, and good evening, good afternoon. My name is Ricardo Phillip. I'm the VP Sales and Marketing for the Cannington Group. We're environmental contractors, and thank you to Actual Media for the invitation, and it's our honor to sponsor the event. For over 40 years, the Cannington Group has been involved in brownfield remediation. Our network of partners allows us to provide environmental liability solutions around impacted properties, affectionately known as brownfields. The Cannington Group has been involved in several of these large projects over our history. And, you know, what we bring to bear is our large fleet of equipment, the application of the latest and greatest environmental technologies, and our drone technology to help bring these projects under closure, under tight timelines, and the high expectancy and delivery of expectations for our clients. So congratulations to all the nominees and the winners. And now for the moment that everybody wants. So the winner of the Best Overall Project Award is Reunion Crossing, Toronto, Ontario. Awesome. Congratulations, Dave. At this time, I'd like to call David Harper to the stage, as everyone knows Dave, and congratulations, Dave.
Well, that's
Thanks,
great.
Ricardo.
Thanks, Ricardo. Thanks to the organizers of the event today. And look, I mean, there's been great projects presented. It's a great field, and we're very fortunate to be selected. So I think there's a number of other projects could have easily won this award, and we're happy to receive it. And, you know, a couple of things I'd like to say about this site that is interesting and, again, inspires us to continue to work in brownfields is that originally this was a site that, you know, Habitat had an interest in, and Create Toronto and Build Toronto were trying to work together to bring affordable housing units to this part of the city, which is Old Western Road in St. Clair. It's at the confluence of the Junction and Corsa Italia and the Stockyards. And unfortunately, it was a site that was stuck because of historical legacy issues on the property and surrounding properties. So in order to sort of realize the vision that was set forth by Habitat in the city, ourselves and our good partner Diamond Corps got involved and came up with a solution that involved dealing with 3 parcels of land, not just one. Closing on 3 parcels of land is a fairly complex process, dealing with, you know, a lot of the impacts associated with that, and then moving it through the planning and rezoning process with Habitat. And this is a site that is surrounded by existing neighborhoods. It's on transit, so it has all those great elements that we look for in urban infill design. We had great consultants that assisted us, great architects, some of which are on the call today. And when we eventually went in for planning approvals and urban design review, the city was very taken back by our ability to basically shoehorn a mid-rise and townhouse development into an existing neighborhood. And again, this is a project that was acknowledged by Bill this year as one of the best projects in the city. Even though it did not win, it certainly won by design, and we're very fortunate to have that distinction. And again, GPA and
Oh, David, sorry we cut you off there. Not sure what happened there, but thank you for that acceptance speech for winning Best Overall Project. We've got to move on to Brownfield of the Year, and this will be on the way to you. But before we do that, I just want to make sure everybody's aware the polls are there. Fill in the poll. You'll see the results. I haven't looked at them yet. I'm sure they're terrible for me. And also, I want to thank Steph Woodburn, who's working behind the scenes with Natasha, helping us with the presentation today. So again, apologies to Dave. Congratulations to Reunion Crossing. And I now get into category 10, Brownfielder of the Year Award. And I'd like to bring onto screen Jason Hudson, who's National Brownfield Sector Leader for Stantec. Over to you, Jason.
Hello, everyone. I'd like to start by thanking everyone who took time to complete their nominations for the awards this year. Congratulations to all the winners today, and also much respect to all the finalists for their great work you have put forward on your excellent endeavors in the brownfield sector. I'm very excited to be part of the Stantec team that is online here today and supporting the sponsorship of the Brownfielder of the Year Award. Stantec has over 62 years of experience at one of Canada's leading multidisciplinary engineering firms. We have a talented force of over 22,000 employees in over 400 locations across 6 continents, with over 60 offices in Canada alone. The depth and breadth of our resources allows us to provide a full suite of services spanning from all aspects of brownfield redevelopment, from selection to substantial completion and occupation. Stantec's structure allows our regional and disciplinary teams to work across locations and practices, meaning our clients have access to a broad spectrum of specialized expertise for addressing complicated site issues. Stantec's team brings experience and thought leadership to each phase of the land revitalization, working closely with stakeholders to bring contaminated properties through from conceptual ideas to redeveloped land. And noting the importance of having strong leadership in this space, we are very privileged to be the sponsor of the Brownfielder of the Year Award, which recognizes individual leadership in the Canadian brownfields industry. Shall I go ahead, Todd?
Take it away. I think we have our award recipient on screen, so if you can introduce her.
Yep. Our 2020 Brownfielder of the Year Award goes to Josie Sampson from the City of Montreal. Josie Sampson has been a member of the Canadian Brownfield remediation community for longer than some of our attendees have been alive. Sampson has been an environmental engineer working in one of Canada's largest cities since 1992. Montreal is a city facing significant challenges when it comes to available land. The island has very little green space available, so the thoughtful utilization of all property is imperative for keeping costs down for the taxpayer while also meeting the needs of a growing urban region. Sampson's leadership has allowed Montreal to meet these challenges head on. She has continuously helped the city navigate the changing environment policy landscape and lobby provincial and federal organizations for greater funding to support the site remediation. In the past decade, her contributions to development of innovative tools for the city, including a database containing nearly 8,000 soil samples, has been imperative for working to redevelop contaminated sites. She has never shied away from the challenging site, be it a coking plant, tar refinery, landfill quarries, or large-scale industrial properties. From the nominator, Josie's heads a dedicated team of specialists that strive to innovate in the field of site remediation with the public's best interest always in mind. Josie's is also an all-round great person and a wonderful boss. She knows how to bring out the best in each individual and can make everyone feel like they're part of one big family. Ladies and gentlemen, I present to you your Brownfielder of the Year for 2020, Jose Samson.
Way to go, Josie!
Well, thank you so much for this award. Thank you, Canadian Network Brownfield Network, and the sponsor and the panel. I'm really honored. I will talk a bit about my background and then the team working with me. I have a great team, and we're doing all kinds of great brownfield work in Montreal. I first started my career at Acres International in Niagara Falls in the waste management section. An engineer and a hydrogeologist, Zach Erzen-Cleoglu and Bruce Bennett, were open-minded enough to hire a young woman with no experience and whom English was a second language. I will always be grateful to those two men. So from the beginning of my career, I work in highly contaminated sites in Niagara region. It must have given me the taste to do that. For the rest of my career, I work on Welland River, on chemical plant in Fort Erie, and in Toronto suburbs. It was an excellent school, and it gave me the motivation to pursue a career in contaminated soil. After a short stay in consulting firm in Montreal, I started working for the city of Montreal as an engineer, geological engineer specialized in contaminated soil. For 16 years, I carried out environmental studies, remediation work in various sites such as brownfield. We have lots in Montreal. Former waste site disposal, that too we have a lot, and snow storage site. Montreal is an industrial city, so it's a good playground for us. In 2008, I became head of a team working on contaminated soil. The team is composed of 8 engineers, 1 technician, and 2 professionals, all working in the same purpose. Our team works to oversee technical aspects of grant program and for the remediation of contaminated land. We provide also technical support to boroughs and central services that have contaminated soil issue in their project. We carry out remediation such as the Parc d'entreprise de la Pointe Saint-Charles, and we're really happy and proud that we won the prize, the Remediate Prize category, and we do also many other brownfield. We do biogas follow-up on former quarry, now located in urban area, and they're often filled with domestic waste. We set guidelines for the city in the management of contaminated soil in line with the provincial regulation. You will understand that the team is highly specialized in various fields associated with contaminated soil. It's an exceptional team, and it's a great asset for the city of Montreal in the management of its territory. I am proud of this team, and I would also like to thank this wonderful team for submitting my application for the Brownfielder of the Year. I'm very touched by this. Finally, the City of Montreal has been a great employer, giving me the opportunity to work on all kinds of projects. Looking back, I consider myself very fortunate to have met all these great people who have influenced my career. Thank you so much.
Congratulations, Josie, and you will get this award soon. You'll also be getting a hat. So many of you know there's a special Brownfield of the Year hat that's given to the recipient. Last year it was given to Wanda and Andy from DeConte, and hopefully they will be sending it your way. just a short trip. They're just outside of Ottawa, so maybe they might deliver it to you in person. I'm not sure. But please put on that hat when you get it and take a picture and send it to us along with your Brownie Award. Congratulations again. And thank you to all of our sponsors. That wraps up for today. I just wanted to make sure we acknowledge all of our sponsors, because without them, without you attending, we would not be able to do any of this. And that's WSP, Eris, Wilmson Shire, Milestone, the Cannington Group, GHD, Golder, Stantec, Bureau Veritas Labs, FCM, Kilmer Brownfield Equity Fund, and our other supporting partners, Eco Canada, T. Harris, Dillon Consulting, and Sanixon. And they just put the polls up on the screen for me. And no, really? 73% of you love me? Or at least the jokes. I won't go all modeling on you, but we'll try a little bit more next year. Your input on new jokes would be appreciated. And so we'll see you next year at the Delta. We're hoping COVID goes away. It's just going to miraculously go away, according to people. But with the virus, the vaccine, and other measures, we hope next fall will be good to go, to have 200 and some odd people attending in person, and we can talk more then. But before I go, I do have one more joke, since obviously the poll says you like this. The brownfield looked wistfully over at the greenfield and said, "I want to be you when I'm remediated." So without further ado, thanks for coming, everybody. That's a wrap. See you next year. Tweet it out. Send pictures of your awards. And thanks again. Bye.